Don't show that. That's embarrassing.
And what might that idea be, Jana?
To stick me out in the woods.
We are probably we're heavily looking into building a new home. If you guys have any ideas or thoughts or suggestions or places we can go, or you know people, fill us in because we'd love to hear it. We want to get started. Hi there, folks. I'm Sean the Modern Yeoman, and another month has arrived. It's now May, which means I owe you guys your monthly homestead update and walk-around episode. There's a lot going on in the homestead this week. The turkeys are jamming, the pigs are jamming. The Yo Nana Jana is here, and she has some cool things that she wants to share that we'll share with you guys here in a moment. The garden has started, and so I've got a lot to show you guys for this episode. The first thing I want to do, though, we're going to extend this run for the pigs, and I'm going to need to distract them. So I'm going to go get Holly and Jana, and they're gonna help me distract those pigs. But if you're new to the homestead update and walk around episode, here's what you need to do. You need to get yourself your favorite hot beverage, sturdiest pair of walking boots, and you need to come with me as we get to it. Let's go. So you might be able to see it, but I set up my second spool of fencing, of hog fence, right behind this fence right here, and I've stretched it out down into the woods here. You'll also notice this briar patch right here, as well as a strip that runs down to the woods that I cut out. Not sure how well you can see it, but there's like a strip of cleared brush. That's where I'm gonna put the new fence. So the idea is, and it's one thing to explain, it's another thing to see it in action. I'm gonna turn off the fence. I'm gonna take the original fence posts out. I'm gonna move them, this side of the fence, through this brush, and then I'm going to connect it to this other fence right here. While I do that, that'll take me about hopefully 5 to 8 minutes. Those 5 to 8 minutes, the fence is going to be off and it's going to be open. And so I'll need to have these guys distracted while I do that. And that's where Holly and Jana are going to come into play. Maybe my dad too. I think my dad might be here. I might call him in for assistance as well. As long as I can keep these boys distracted for 5 to 8 minutes with lots of food, I think I'll be good. I'll have that short window of time to move the fence and connect to the new fence. So let's get to it. Wish me luck. So Holly, you've got lots of food.
Yes.
This is going, I smell that too.
Yeah, it smells like lighter fluid.
I wonder if somebody's cooking. We're filming, but we're also noticing a very heavy scent of lighter fluid, which calls to mind barbecues, which makes me want to have a barbecue tonight. Speaking of food, you've got some food here.
Yes, I've got some.
Just leftovers, old grapes, old rice, chip crumbs, and some old brisket that we had, some old barbecue. So we're gonna just pile that in the food tub for the pigs. And the goal is to keep them distracted for...
I think Mom and I should kind of dole this out to them slowly because they'll eat this in 2 seconds.
Yeah, I know. So
I don't want to put it in their food bowl.
That fence is going to be off and open for like 5 minutes or so, maybe even a little longer.
We will slowly dole it out to them.
Okay.
And keep them entertained.
All right, let's get to it. We've got the crew here. Holly's behind the camera. We've got the pigs, of course. I'm here. Jana, you're here to help. And Dad, you're here to help as well.
All the Yo staff.
All the Yo staff.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Why not just keep them penned in?
In the barn.
Put them inside their little
Keep them inside the stall.
housey hole. Feed them well and then throw them in there. Or throw
Yeah,
their
just
food
bring
in
all
there.
the food in there.
and just
Shut
lock
the
'em
door.
up.
We don't have to worry
Yeah,
about
that's actually, I don't know
It's a
why.
brilliant
I didn't think of
idea.
that. Here's the honest truth. I thought this would be more fun.
Oh man, I ruined it.
So let's just bring them in there. And so
We'll just load up the stall with food and
look at them. Yeah, that's some chance.
Oh,
Boy.
a little bit of carbs.
They'll tear through those.
That's what happens when you get
Don't
stung.
get too close to the fence there. I don't know if that was Frank or beans.
Those Frank.
Old brisket and cornbread.
Oh man, Life is good.
And some rice. I think this ought to keep them, this ought to bring them inside the stall.
Oh, they're drooling.
Are they literally drooling?
Yes.
All right, what happens when you get too close to that fence?
Yep.
Here we go. Come on, boys.
Oh.
Come on in. Here, baby. Shovel in there.
Safe and secure.
Okay, we can take as much time as we want now.
No shenanigans.
No
so
crazy race against the clock. All right, that's easy. Well, thanks, guys. The goal is to keep in this kind of shaved area here.
want me to release the beast?
You want to release the beasts, Dad?
I'll do it. Hey, boys.
Up.
Okay. You guys done?
Hey, guys.
Come on, buds. Hey, pick. You pick. Yeah. No. They're a little hesitant.
They're right at the edge of their old fence.
Where they were. It's funny
Pick.
how they automatically slowed down.
They're a little skittish.
Wait a minute.
So the idea, this is kind of a test run. Eventually we're going to have them out in the woods full time. We still need to build a pig shelter. But I want to see how quick it'll take them to knock down this brush right here. So that's kind of my experiment, to have them work on that brush. Hey, they're moving down there.
Do you want me to turn on the fence?
Yeah, I'm going to get over. Let's turn that fence off on. So just about everything is planted in the garden. We're going to give you guys a very quick walkthrough. Just go box by box, speed round. Holly, you ready to show us what's in these boxes?
Yeah, almost everything is planted. Let's start with the tomatoes.
Okay.
We have 8 plants in each bed, 24 total. So we've got Brandywines, Cherokee Purples, Black Creme, which we've never grown before, Sun Gold, Early Girls, and then Boxcar Willie, which we've also never grown before. They didn't have some of our go-tos, so we're trying some new things.
We're going to do something interesting once these plants get a little bigger, right?
Yeah, we are going to, this year we're going to try a tomato trellis. We've done cages and they just get very unwieldy.
Yes.
So we found some designs that use cattle panels down the middle. So I've
With
left
T-posts, cattle panels, and that's it. So
Yep.
we're going to have probably 3 T-posts per box.
2, I'd say.
Maybe 2. It depends on how long we can get the cattle panels, because each box is 12 foot.
Yeah.
So 2 or 3 T-posts per box, and cattle panels zip tied to those T-posts down the center of each box. And we're just going to use twine to tie the stems and the branches of the tomato bushes to the tomato trellis. So hopefully it'll be a lot more easy to pick and deal with as it's getting bigger.
I'm excited about it.
What's in this box?
So here we've got some peppers, red hot cherry peppers mostly, and some jalapenos, and I'm trying out some sheet mulching here with cardboard. I haven't put a top layer on top of the cardboard yet. I haven't had time. But the crabgrass is, or I think it's crabgrass.
Bermuda grass, whatever.
Bermuda is growing nuts in our beds, and it's very difficult to control. So we're trying out some sheet mulching, which I'll probably implement in the other beds to cut back on the weeding.
What kind of peppers?
Red hot cherry and jalapenos.
Yum.
Red hot cherries are my favorite.
More peppers?
Yes, more peppers. This is all bell peppers and banana peppers.
Oh, yum. My fave. An empty bed? What is this all about?
This is for our okra, which we are growing from seed here. They just started to pop
nice.
up because the only okra starts they had at the store were $5 per plant. And I was not
gracious.
paying $20 or $30 for a bed of okra.
Next year, we started a fair amount of stuff from seed this year, but next
Yeah.
year we want to start everything
We're
from
going to
seed.
start more from seed. We're lucky to find a few local nurseries that had way better deals on plants. But I was not paying $5 per
No.
plant for okra.
What's in this bed?
So this is all sweet potatoes.
And a couple of volunteer regular
And then
potatoes.
a couple of volunteer regular, some variety of normal potato.
Yum. Sweet potatoes grow very well here. If you've watched this channel, then you know we had quite the harvest. It was probably over 100 pounds of sweet potatoes that we harvested last year. I think we still have some left from our harvest. We ate them all. We're going to focus mostly on sweet potatoes just because they grow incredibly in our soil for whatever reason. What's in here?
So here we have cucumbers.
Cucumbers.
Here we have some yellow squash.
Yellow
and then
squash.
There we have zucchini.
Fingers crossed that we don't deal with squash bugs this year, at least as bad as we did last year. What's here?
This is a mixed herb and veggie plot that I'll probably add more stuff to later.
Okay.
There's some fennel that came back from last year, a few heads of broccoli, parsley, basil, and then I'm growing from seed a row of nasturtiums right here, which are edible flowers that I love. They taste like pepper.
Nice. These are all started from seed,
Yeah, we started all these from seed.
and it's going, it might even almost even be too dense. I don't know.
No, it'll be fine. I mean, we're going to keep it trimmed. We've got red Russian kale, collards, and then a mix of green and purple cabbage, and then some bok choy, some of which is bolted, which is strange,
kind of odd.
but-
Yeah. What about here?
Then over here, this is our salad greens bed. So we have arugula, mustard greens, mesclun mix, spinach, and then I think that's tatsoi.
Yes, I believe so.
Japanese green. And that's it for the veggies, and then we've got some herbs over here.
Let's go check them out. Okay, what do we got?
So there's a few things we haven't planted yet. I was really excited to find this coral honeysuckle,
Ooh.
which is a native plant. It doesn't have any blooms left on it, but
Native to East Tennessee.
yeah, this area, the blooms look like this.
Oh.
And the hummingbirds go crazy for it. The hummingbirds also go crazy for pineapple sage, which we haven't planted yet, but this gets huge and has red blooms and they love it. Some melons that we still haven't planted that are going to go over there.
Into the square area.
Yes.
Okay.
And then here we've got Roman chamomile, rosemary, lemon balm, a few different types of lavender, sage, ice plant, bee balm, echinacea, butterfly bush.
Nice. And then over there, the berry.
Don't show that. That's embarrassing.
We've got some work to do. It needs
It
a
has-
lot of weeding.
It has turned out some delicious strawberries.
We've had some
this morning.
really good strawberries, but that's a work in progress. We need to weed that. Hopefully the raspberries that are up there will start to produce.
They're blooming, so they should fruit
midsummer. We'll see.
early summer.
Our little experiment of bringing them out to work on this brush has already started to pay off dividends. I wasn't filming it, but when I was out here earlier, I fed them their dinner, which they're eating out of right there, but they were picking through that brush. So, in fact, they're going for it right now. Eventually, we're gonna have them in the woods clearing land for us. So I wanna get them used to dealing with brush that's over their heads and having them work through it. Keep at it, boys. That's what I want you to do. That's it. You got the idea. Don't get too excited. So if you've watched the channel for a little while, then, well, just for the past few episodes, then you know that my mother-in-law, Nana Jana, is staying with us right now, and she has actually struck upon somewhat of an interesting idea that made Holly and I and my parents very excited. And what might that idea be, Jana?
To stick me out in the woods and let me build my little dream shop and barn dominium.
Yeah.
To stick her out in the woods.
Yes.
We've had this idea for a while, actually.
have.
Yes, but you
Yeah.
guys are thinking about, well, Jana, you're thinking about actually finding a spot back here in the woods and building your own shop slash house.
Yes.
Have you thought of any spots that you like in particular?
Well, it hasn't been cleared out enough to find the exact perfect little location, but there's plenty of options down here. So let's get it cleared
there's some
out,
clearings that
and
you might have
then
your eyes on?
I'm still getting familiar with it all.
Okay.
So.
So that's all very exciting, but we don't really know what to do.
Yes.
We don't know what's involved. Obviously, you can, just off the top of our heads, there's things you can think of. We need to extend the gravel driveway. We need to extend that easement out back here through the woods to a suitable location wherever we have the home site here. We need to figure out electric. We need to figure out septic and water. We need to figure out, there's a couple other things. I mean, there's a load of considerations to take when you're building on a new piece of property. And so we've got lots of land back here, but we don't really know the process.
Yeah, we've looked into it a little bit and we have some ideas, but one of the reasons we decided to film this is if anybody out there watching has ever built any type of barn dominium structure, and there's so many different types of barn dominiums. There's the really, really fancy kind, and then there's the simpler kind. We're probably leaning a little bit more towards simpler. Just a shop structure with kind of an apartment suite on the side. If anyone out there has done that, has any experience with it, has any tips for us, knows any contractors in East Tennessee, knows of any other channels that maybe talk about this, we would love to hear all of your comments and feedback on that.
So the long and short of it is, we are probably we're heavily looking into building a new home here on the property, here on the Yeostead, the Yeo compound, the Yeo family compound, back here in the beautiful back pastures. We don't know much, if anything, about it, but we're willing to learn, and we're hoping that you guys might have some suggestions for us so we can start wading into those waters and start thinking about building a house for Nana Jana here in the back pastures somewhere. Yes. So if you guys have any ideas or thoughts or suggestions or places we can go, or you know people, fill us in, because we'd love to hear it. We want to get started on that trek and start thinking about that. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today on The Modern Yeoman. As you can tell, there's a lot on our plate. We're running a homestead. I'm working full time. Probably going to start thinking about building on the homestead, the Yeostead family compound. There's turkeys, there's pigs, there's a garden. I'm one busy guy, and I couldn't be happier. Thanks for hanging out with us today, and until we see you guys next time, remember, as always, slowly,